Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Who has the better legacy? In this video, I am going to break down this debate and tell you exactly who I think has the better legacy based on fact that cannot be disputed. But before we do that, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet or you're new to the channel, then don't forget to support, hit the like button, subscribe and leave your comments in the section below. When deciding who has the better legacy, I like to look at three things. Number one, the fighter's resume, and number two, the fights that they have taken, won or lost, and if they've been able to avenge those losses, and number three, their impact on boxing, whether it is commercially or their influence overall on the sport. So let's take a look at Anthony Joshua. Currently 28 wins, 4 losses and 0 draws. The Dillian Whyte fight was the beginning of Joshua's notoriety in the heavyweight division and especially in Britain. And it was a very interesting fight. A fight between two rivals, London rivals that want to go head to head. And this was when Joshua started making his name and making an impact on heavyweight boxing and on British boxing as a whole. He dealt with Dillian Whyte in a devastating fashion, and then he won the world title from Charles Martin. Now, a lot of people may say Charles Martin is not a real champion, and you know what? They have an argument because Charles Martin, after winning that world champion that Anthony Joshua took away from him, he hasn't gone on to do anything. Charles Martin hasn't gone on to achieve anything in boxing. So that win does not age well for Anthony Joshua. He then defended it against Dominic Breazeale and Eric Molina, who are decent fighters, but not exactly world-class fighters. And then the Wladimir Klitschko fight. Now, this is the fight that I believe was the catalyst for British heavyweights domination of the heavyweight division for the past 10 years or so. Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko at Wembley for 90,000 people was one of the biggest fights we have seen in boxing for a while. And that fight brought a lot of people, a lot of casuals, a lot of eyeballs onto the sport. And that was an influence that Joshua began to have on the sport. And of course, that was the fight that propelled Anthony Joshua into superstardom. And that meant that, you know, the UK was buzzing again. Big fights in the UK. Anthony Joshua was fighting at Wembley, was fighting at the Principality Stadium, and he was making big numbers. And a lot of fighters on the undercard were making a lot of money as well. So in terms of, you know, beating someone like a Wladimir Klitschko, he'd take that. In terms of bringing eyeballs to the sport and growing the sport as we want it to be, Anthony Joshua did that. And other fighters benefiting from that of what Anthony Joshua did was very clear to see. He defended his belt against Carlos Takam, and then he unified the belt against Joseph Parker. Now, once again, this is a very good win that has aged very well because we have seen what Joseph Parker is doing right now. Currently, the mandatory for the WBO championship belt, Joseph Parker has gone on to have a very good career. So Anthony Joshua beating Joseph Parker has aged very well, and that adds to his resume and how deep his resume gets. He then went on to beat Oleksandr Povetkin. Now, Povetkin is also another great win on Joshua's resume because Povetkin was very dangerous. He punches hard. He's a very good fighter, and Joshua dealt with Povetkin in a very good manner and knocked Oleksandr Povetkin out. And then the Andy Ruiz fight. Now, this is a fight that a lot of people, including myself, had picked Anthony Joshua to win, although some people knew what threat that Andy Ruiz would bring to the ring. Joshua looked invincible then. Joshua looked like he could not be touched. And of course, we saw in Madison Square Garden, Andy Ruiz took the crown away from Anthony Joshua. Joshua then had the opportunity to win that belt back, and he did. He won against Andy Ruiz the second time, which is the first loss on his record, and he defended that loss successfully. He then defended against Kubrat Pulev, and then the two losses, Oleksandr Usyk 1 and 2. Now, this is a fight that it was clear that Oleksandr Usyk is a better fighter overall than Anthony Joshua, and it showed on the night. Usyk dominated and really outclassed, outboxed Anthony Joshua in both fights, and it was just a clear win for Oleksandr Usyk. Joshua then went on to fight Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou, and then recently lost in a devastating fashion at Wembley to Daniel Dubois. So we can see Anthony Joshua has a very, very good resume. He's fought some really top fighters. He's fought elite fighters in Oleksandr Usyk, and although he's lost, he's given a good account of himself. He's avenged one of his losses. We're yet to see if he's able to avenge that Daniel Dubois loss. But overall, a very, very good resume, a deep resume when you compare it to other fighters in the heavyweight division. And of course, in terms of commercial success, in terms of influence on boxing, Anthony Joshua brought big time boxing back into the UK and of course into the world of boxing, because fighters started making a lot of money and other fighters started to get into the sport and have their impact as well because of Anthony Joshua's influence and commercial success that he had brought into the sport. Now this is where it gets very interesting, where I am always very high on, and that is title defenses that a fighter make. Anthony Joshua, since he became world champion, has made 10 title defenses, 6 defenses with the IBF world title, 3 defenses with the WBA belt, and 1 defense with the WBO championship belt. So Joshua has accumulated 10 world title defenses, which is incredible, because if you look at the likes of Ali, Larry Holmes and those sort of fighters, they had a lot of defenses and they unified the division and brought other belts together, and that is really important in boxing and something that I rate very highly. Now let's look at Tyson Fury. He won the title against Wladimir Klitschko in Germany, in Dusseldorf. Now that was a very good win because someone needed to take away the belts from the Klitschko brothers, because they were monopolizing boxing. They were keeping the belts in hostage. And what Tyson Fury did that was incredible, he beat Wladimir Klitschko and he opened up the division. However, Tyson Fury went AWOL. Tyson Fury was nowhere to be found after that. Tyson Fury, as a champion, is meant to defend his world title. He was meant to give Wladimir Klitschko a rematch, which Tyson Fury was not able to do. He went out there, he did what he did, and was not able to defend that title. Fury then comes back and fight really low positions like Sylvester Fury, Francisco Pianeta, which was good because he was coming back. He needed to build his confidence and he needed to build momentum for himself. And then he went into the Deontay Wilder fights. Now, a lot of people misconstrue when people say, or when I say, that the Deontay Wilder fights were great fights for entertainment. But Deontay Wilder had not beaten anyone elite. Deontay Wilder has not beaten any very, very good fighters. Deontay Wilder had beaten good fighters, decent fighters, but nothing on Deontay Wilder's resume was great. Tyson Fury did dominate Deontay Wilder. Went into America in the first fight. I thought Tyson Fury won that fight fair and square. They gave it a draw. Fury then faced the likes of Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, which once again were not world-class opponents. When other fighters like Povetkin or Anthony Joshua or Andy Ruiz or Joseph Parker were there to be fought, Tyson Fury opted to fight the likes of Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, and he got a lot of criticism for it, and deservedly so. Fury then went into the second Deontay Wilder fight, and that was an incredible performance. I thought that Deontay Wilder was going to knock Tyson Fury out. In fact, a lot of people believed that Deontay Wilder was going to have the better of Tyson Fury. But Fury had an incredible performance. Fury employed an educated pressure type of fight. Fury put Deontay Wilder on the back foot and stopped Deontay Wilder in a statement win. And that was when Tyson Fury started to gain notoriety even more in the US and started to dominate and have impact commercially on boxing. Fury then went into the Deontay Wilder third fight, which is a fight that was just brutal. One of the most entertaining heavyweight fights that I had seen in recent times. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury went head to head. Fury in the end knocked Deontay Wilder cold and really stamped his authority in the US, and Fury got a lot of notoriety in the US, and then Fury's influence and impact on boxing commercially was then established. Fury defended his belts against Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, and then fought Francis Ngannou, a fight that a lot of people thought that Tyson Fury lost, but of course they gave Tyson Fury the win. And then Fury's step up to elite level, which is Oleksandr Usyk. Fury faced Oleksandr Usyk twice, and in both fights Fury lost twice. Oleksandr Usyk was way better than Tyson Fury. Oleksandr Usyk has always been better than Tyson Fury, no matter what the media was saying. Usyk dominated Tyson Fury in both fights, and Usyk was the clear and fair winner So as we can see, Tyson Fury has a good resume, but there are a lot of C-level, D-level, E-level fighters on Tyson Fury's resume. That does not bode well with his legacy when you're comparing it to Anthony Joshua. In terms of title defenses, this is where we have a problem. Tyson Fury has only 3 title defenses. A defense against Derek Chisora, Dillian Whyte, and Deontay Wilder. That's it. Anthony Joshua has 10 title defenses. Tyson Fury has 3 title defenses. I think Anthony Joshua has a better legacy than Tyson Fury based on the fighters that he's fought, his resume, and based on the fact that he's had more title defenses. And that is something that is so very important in boxing that we need to hold all champions to, is title defenses and fighting the best fighters in their generation at that time. And I think Joshua has had more commercial success and has brought a lot more to boxing than Tyson Fury has done. But of course, Tyson has beaten Klitschko, he opened up the division, and Tyson has also had commercial success in the US more than he's had in the UK. I am very interested to know what you guys think. Between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, who has had the better legacy so far? Of course, if both fighters fight, and let's say Tyson Fury beats Anthony Joshua, the pendulum could swing in Tyson Fury's favour. But for now, I think Anthony Joshua has a better legacy than Tyson Fury, and that is based on pure facts. Facts that we can point our fingers to. You get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it. This is the Bright Show Podcast Boxing. My name is Bright. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.